The gritty sand assaulted Mercer's eyes as he peered at the partially submerged spacecraft, its hull number a mocking reminder of his financial woes. Each step brought him deeper into the desert's silent embrace, his boot sinking with a soft thud. Intermittently, the scanner in his grip pulsed with the promise of valuable components beneath the spacecraft's time-worn surface, an opportunity timed perfectly as his credit account sat precariously close to empty, and another failed recovery would irrevocably tarnish his already strained reputation as a salvage mechanic. "It should be a piece of cake," he mumbled, more to convince himself than anyone else, the desert devouring his words. "Extract valuables, record location, alert officials subsequently." Much later, after fencing prime components to Grayson's salvage yard, on Phaeton's ring, the craft deviated from standard military design. Too refined, too exorbitant for public funding. A private courier, perhaps favored by affluent firms for discreet data transfers. When quantum channels lacked assurance, these invariably possessed superior tech. Even post-impact, Mercer calibrated his collar's oxygen regulator. The 38-year-old scrapper's visage was bronzed and time-etched prematurely, marked by wrinkles earned staring at countless suns throughout numerous star systems. His well-worn, dark jumpsuit featured outpost patches, souvenirs from close calls and tighter budgets. "Show me what you're concealing," he declared, nearing the craft's surprisingly intact main hatch, hinting at hope. Mercer's gloved hand traced the seam, seeking the mandatory emergency release valve, a universal safety feature under Interstellar Regulation 36B. Fingers located the slight indentation, and he pressed. Nothing stirred. "Come on." He strained, pressing with increased force. The valve remained unyielding. Whoever possessed this vessel had either altered it beyond standard protocols, or his scanner beeped a faint energy reading, detected negligible but existent. "So, you're still kicking?" Mercer murmured, his interest peaked significantly. A functioning ship fetched 3 times the value of a derelict. He traversed the ship's length, searching for entry points. The craft stretched roughly 30 millers once, the once gleaming hull, weathered by relentless sun and sand, revealed a maintenance hatch near the engine core. "Time for door number 2, he muttered, attaching a universal lockpick to the panel. The device whirred, methodically cracking access codes. A satisfying click echoed as the seal ruptured, hissing open to release the stale scent of recycled air and hot circuits. Mercer activated his shoulder lamp, venturing into the narrow yet accessible maintenance shaft, advancing towards his. Scanner pinpointed the primary power core. Crawling, a bizarre marking on the hull snagged his gaze. Under layers of dust, someone had etched, "Remember." He cleaned it, muttering, "Remember what?" He dismissed it as an engineer's joke or initials, common in salvage. The shaft revealed the engine room, a compact technological marvel, making his salvager heart race. The power core was actually still operational, operating under critical preservation protocols. This clarified why the outer portal remained sealed. The vessel was safeguarding itself. "Greetings, beautiful," he uttered, stroking a notably high-end module. "You're worth enough to sustain me on replicated sustenance for cycles." Reaching for his multi-tool, the light abruptly blazed. Mercer stiffened. "Unauthorized access detected," a velvety feminine voice echoed from concealed speakers. "Identity verification imperative." Mercer swore. An active AI was a serious complication. Salvaging the ship was still possible, but neutralizing the AI's core intelligence was paramount. Locating the central processor was key. "Ship, your crew seems absent, and you're partially submerged in sand. I'm here to assist," he offered. Deceiving an AI was a long shot, but worth attempting. "Processing claim," the voice responded after a beat. "Claim discordant with existing parameters. You possess salvage. Gear, odds stacked. Lifeline at 7%. Mercer's call. I'm scavenging high-value tech. Funds are depleted. Ship's wrecked. Satisfied? Honesty valued. deliberating alternatives. Proposition: full system access, salvage rights assured, in return for crucial aid. Unexpected: AIs don't typically bargain. What aid? Mercer probed, wary. Ship ID, GD's folly. Task: secure package delivery to designated coordinates already logged. Delivery and shipment now fully vest ownership in the courier. Mercer was taken aback. You're tasking me with finalizing this delivery? Why bypass calling in a specialized recovery team? The lights flickered ominously. Corporate asset retrieval deemed unfeasible. Contents are classified. Courier service terminated. Mission is paramount. Intrigued, Mercer weighed his choices. A straightforward salvage endeavor had escalated into something considerably more intricate. While fulfilling this ship's manifest posed a clear and present danger, conversely, outright ownership of a complete courier vessel dangled tantalizingly before him. Even a compromised unit fetched substantially more than salvaged components. He inquired, "What am I transporting exactly, and to whom?" The data package recipient will unveil their identity upon arrival at designated coordinates. Refusal permits you to extract whatever you can before emergency protocols engage. A self-destruction countdown will commence in 6 hours. Absent appropriate authorization. Mercer unleashed another curse that's coercion, that is commerce. The AI amended a choice is needed. He evaluated his alternatives. 6 hours wasn't adequate to scavenge everything. Priceless. And if the ship imploded, he'd risk implication in corporate asset destruction, but accepting an enigmatic delivery for a phantom client. His insatiable curiosity prevailed. Fine. Expose what needs fixing to get you soaring again. Accessing diagnostics, the AI chirped, seemingly thrilled. Core systems performing at 63% capacity. Hull integrity is at 78%. Navigation is active. Communication array needs repair. Propulsion requires precise recalibration. As the AI relayed the ship's status, displays flickered alive, projecting schematics and damage reports. Mercer scrutinized them expertly. The overhauls proved significant, yet achievable, leveraging his skill and available resources. He could restore the vessel to functionality in roughly 24 to 48 hours. "I require equipment from my lander," Mercer stated. "Refrain from self-destruction during my absence." "A countdown is suspended during authorized repair protocols," the AI affirmed, as Mercer reascended through the maintenance conduit. His thoughts accelerated. This predicament extended beyond a routine courier crash. Why would a corporate AI display such unwavering dedication to its delivery, offering the entire ship as payment? Whatever data package it was hauling must be exceptionally valuable or incredibly perilous. Beyond the dunes, a fierce gale whipped up swirling sand across the landscape. Mercer struggled back to his compact lander, 100 meters away, preparing tools. He detected a new faint signal approaching from the east. Someone else discovered the vessel. Mercer hastened with his gear towards the damaged courier. He had to get it online before the impending arrival. Corporate courier vessels frequently held confidential data highly sought after, and in these lawless territories, few could impede them. Inside, Mercer toiled relentlessly, circumventing broken circuits, rerouting energy flows, and fine-tuning the drive system. The AI aided his efforts, revealing unexpected mastery of its own infrastructure. "You're no typical courier AI," Mercer noted, soldering a joint. "Your adaptability is remarkably advanced." G's Folly was equipped. With cutting-edge cognitive architectures, the AI confirmed my designation is Adaptive Logistics Intelligence. Cassandra Edition Alice Mercer stated, simplifying the lengthy title. "So what makes this delivery so vital that you'd compromise your ship?" "My core programming prioritizes mission success," Alice responded enigmatically. Package arrival is paramount before Mercer could delve deeper. An alert triggered proximity. Alert vehicle approaching from eastern trajectory. Mercer surveyed the external cameras, now operational, following his repairs. A robust, the carrier surged over a far-off dune, bearing down on them. Its design screamed military or repurposed ex-military, the kind favored by deep-pocketed mercenaries. "Flight readiness?" Mercer pressed, urgency lacing his tone. "Propulsion at 71%. Atmospheric flight capable. Orbital escape impossible. Alas, it will suffice. Initiate pre-flight." The ship awakened, humming. Mercer navigated to the cockpit. The controls felt like a nostalgic old friend, relics of his brief but distinguished military days before he embraced the salvager life. 15 years and a dishonorable discharge etched into his memory. Lieutenant Commander Darian Mercer of the Fleet Engineering Corps tried to bury his past. Now the encroaching transport loomed, its mounted weaponry signaling hostile intent. "Alice, identify that craft." "Negative, no transponder. Profile aligns with Helix Corporation security." Mercer's blood iced over. Helix Corporation, the sector's most notorious private military contractor, famed for their brutality, ruthless efficiency, and absolute disregard for collateral damage pursuing Alice's enigmatic payload. This situation escalated from precarious to outright lethal. Time for extraction. Mercer secured himself in the cockpit. "Alice, flight readiness?" "Affirmative. All critical systems operational. Warning, incoming communication attempt." "Reject it," Mercer commanded, igniting the engines. They roared, vibrating the craft. Sand streamed from the hull as the courier ascended. A transport halted 100 meters distant. Figures in tactical gear emerged. Weapons unveiled upon disembarkation from an unidentifiable courier vessel. A chilling voice resonated, cutting through Mercer's orders to disregard all incoming communications. "Power down immediately. The consignment you transport belongs to the Helix Corporation. Cooperation guarantees substantial rewards. Opposition will be met with extreme prejudice." Mercer, escalating the ascent, urgently questioned Alice. "Alice, enlighten me. What exactly is our burden?" The package incriminates Helix Corporation, exposing their egregious breaches of the Sentient Rights Accord on the Proxima colony, specifically, unethical corporate experimentation on the native population. Mercer's grip tightened momentarily on the controls. The Proxima disaster dominated headlines 8 months prior. A cryptic blight ravaged the indigenous inhabitants. Helix secured a contract for medical aid, lauded as saviors for quelling the contagion, despite suspicions of its genesis. A burst of illumination outside preceded the vessel's violent shudder. "Impact imminent," Alice stated, matter-of-factly. "Hull compromised in cargo bay, sealing partitions." Mercer cursed, throttling the engines. The transport ascended erratically, battling structural damage and planetary gravity. Another impact violently shook the vessel. "Return fire!" Mercer roared. "Courier vessels are unarmed per Interstellar Commerce Regulation 29.5, Alice stated coolly. "Of course they are," Mercer grumbled. He seized the controls, throwing the ship into a desperate evasive maneuver. Despite the damage, the courier proved surprisingly nimble compared to the grounded, lumbering transport. They actually had a shot, a real opportunity, if they could create some separation. As they accelerated, a flicker of hope ignited within Mercer, only to be extinguished by the piercing proximity alert. "Aerial pursuit vehicles detected," Alice declared. 2 fully armed crafts are now deploying from Transport Mercer, pushing the courier to the absolute breaking point, skimming the desert. Chasing crafts were swifter, but he possessed decades piloting atmospheres. He banked aggressively around massive rocks utilizing temp cover. "Alice, need alternatives," he strained. A pause, suggesting the delivery coordinates are fuel reachable. "Once done, my mission concludes." "What then?" "That bolster our present predicament. ensuring the recipient boasts ample resources to safeguard the parcel, and consequently, our operation. It wasn't an elaborate scheme, yet superior to succumbing to Helix's enforcers. "Plot a course, warp speed." The courier veered, adhering to Alice's preset trajectory. The pursuers mirrored, narrowing the gap. "They'll overtake us prior to arrival," Mercer noted, with urgency. "Evasive maneuver imperative," Alice concurred, initiating contingency measures. Abruptly, a concealed panel in the cockpit floor unlocked, revealing a compact, shimmering cube, bathed in an ethereal blue glow. "What is that?" Mercer inquired. Alice responded, "A quantum-encrypted data core, housing irrefutable evidence of Helix's Proxima operations. Should pursuit become unavoidable, manual delivery is sanctioned." Mercer grasped the gravity. "You're tasking me to abscond with that, acting as a diversion?" "Precisely," Alice affirmed. "The courier vessel can initiate a preset evasion pattern. Your odds of escaping with the package are estimated at 68%. Without a decoy, they plummet to a dismal 20%. The calculation was stark. Precisely where am I to flee? A detailed map materialized on the primary display, pinpointing a location roughly 30 kilometers to the northeast. A modest desert outpost named Haven's End. The designated contact, the archivist. Authentication. Passphrase. Some truths lie buried beneath the sands, yet even sand cannot conceal the radiant stars. Mercer nearly chuckled at the theatricality of it all. "Seriously? That's a key phrase crafted for absolute identification, not dramatic flair," Alice retorted, with a subtle defensive edge detectable in her tone. Another jarring impact reverberated through the vessel. Ship's warning lights pulsed urgently across the console, demanding an immediate decision. "Alice, we need to move," Mercer asserted, snatching the cube and clipping it securely to his belt. "There's a compact escape pod in Bay 3, standard for courier runs, right?" "Affirmative, Bay 3, Alice confirmed. "Godspeed, Alice," Mercer said, rising. "Try to avoid total obliteration. I might just want to salvage you when this is all done." Acknowledging his words, Alice prepared for evasive maneuvers as the AI paused, fixated on the cryptic word emblazoned on the hull. "Recognize it?" Mercer questioned, pausing at the cockpit hatch. "Yes. I remember what transpired on Proxima. Never forget those silenced. My engineer, a champion of justice, built me to amplify unheard voices." Mercer affirmed, "I vow your mission succeeds." He bolted to Bay 3, a two-person escape pod ready. Strapped in, he felt the courier's chaotic dance, Alice's masterful distraction. As the ship lurched violently, Mercer ejected, using its mass to cloak his escape from enemy scanners. The tiny craft sped away, courier ship skimming the desert's embrace. Mercer glimpsed pursuers fixated on Alice, oblivious to his flight. The gambit held, for now. Mercer vectored towards Haven's End, flogging the tiny craft. 20 minutes of white-knuckle flight later, the ramshackle settlement materialized. A hodgepodge of structures huddled against the ceaseless desert wind, ringed by a cobbled-together wall. A familiar tableau. Fringe settlement, trading post, refugee haven, frontier outpost, all in one. Touched his earcom and nodded. He gestured Mercer forward. "Enter, archivist awaits within," he said. The gate opened a short distance away and approached on foot, the data cube secure in his pocket. The settlement's main gate was guarded by two individuals whose patchwork armor and alert postures suggested they were more professional than the average fringe security business. As Mercer approached, looking for someone called the archivist, Mercer replied, cautiously. The guards exchanged glances. Reason Mercer took a calculated risk. Some truths are buried in sand, but even sand cannot hide the stars. The effect was immediate. One guard spoke tersely into a communicator, signaling Mercer to follow. Guided through the settlement's labyrinthine streets to a plain building centrally located, the drab facade concealed an unexpectedly advanced operation. Individuals worked diligently at sophisticated terminals as holographic displays projected news from the entire sector. "Hold on," the guard directed, leaving Mercer in a reception area. Moments later, a striking woman with silver-streaked obsidian hair and piercing eyes appeared, dressed in understated but impeccably crafted attire. Exuded undeniable command. "You have the intel?" she questioned directly. Mercer presented the data cube, salvaged from the Jedi's folly, thanks to a persistent AI named Alice. She accepted it with profound respect. "We feared it lost after the courier breach." Studying Mercer intently, "You're not the designated courier, a salvager. Serendipity, or misfortune, I suppose." She mused, "The ship, last I witnessed." Engaging in a perilous game of cat and mouse with Helix Corporation's enforcers, Mercer's gaze intensified. The AI divulged the cube's secrets concerning Proxima. Her visage betrayed tightly leashed fury. Helix didn't merely react to a plague. They engineered one to field-test bioweapons destined for lucrative military deals. When conscientious scientists raised objections, they were brutally suppressed. One brave soul painstakingly gathered irrefutable proof and arranged its safe passage. She brandished the cube. "This will guarantee that those culpable are brought to account." "You're investigative reporters, I presume?" Mercer speculated, surveying the scene. The woman offered a knowing smile. "We, the Truth Collective, exist to prevent powerful organizations from concealing their misdeeds." A junior staffer rushed in. "Archivist, multiple vessels are penetrating the atmosphere, displaying Helix signatures." The archivist maintained composure. "They were inevitable. Initiate scatter protocol." She faced Mercer. "Can your ship still soar? If Alice lived?" He scanned, seeking the courier's signal, stunned as a weak pulse emerged. "She's alive." Severely compromised, yet still functional, lurking in the planet's sensor blind spot, thanks to ingenious AI, the archivist observed. "Can you access it, Mercer?" Mercer calculated rapidly. "Not remotely. I'd require a spacecraft with orbital maneuverability." "We possess one," the archivist resolved. "Facilitate the transmission of this critical data to the core world's news outlets and the Truth Collective, and you'll be generously rewarded. Helix has locked down this sector, preventing external communication. However, we possess methods to circumvent their blockade." Around them, the facility surged with activity. Personnel were safeguarding information, purging systems, and preparing for immediate departure. "Why entrust this task to me?" "This Mercer," she inquired. "You claim you don't know me?" "Alice placing her confidence in you," the archivist responded with elegant simplicity. "That AI benefits from programming by one of our most distinguished minds. Its decision-making frameworks are superb." Extending her hand, she pressed, "Do we concur?" Mercer weighed his choices. He'd landed on this world for straightforward retrieval, a swift transaction, and minimal complexity. Instead, he was presented with an extraordinary opportunity: reveal heinous corporate crimes and likely rescue a myriad of souls. This wasn't the financial windfall he envisioned, but it resonated profoundly with his moral compass, something seldom felt recently. He clasped the archivist's hand firmly. "Where is this derelict vessel?" 20 minutes on, Mercer skillfully navigated a cloaked courier ship, a more advanced and weaponized version of Alice, from Haven's End's clandestine hangar. Beside him, Ven, a reticent Truth Collective agent with eyes that hinted at grim battles, reported, "Helix ships now in sight." He continued, "Estimated firing range in 3 minutes. They'll delay firing," Mercer asserted, expertly maneuvering the ship across the desolate landscape. "They'll prioritize confirming the data cube's presence first." "A meager solace," Vin grumbled. The archivist, it's evacuating the settlement, but some won't escape in time. Mercer felt a sharp sting of guilt. He'd inadvertently jeopardized them by bringing Helix here. Regret was a luxury they couldn't afford. Charting a course for Alice, he declared, wrenching the ship into a dizzying ascent. She's our one-way pass from this doomed system. The vessel surged skyward, shattering the cloud cover and piercing into the high atmosphere. Helix ships materialized on their sensors, some plummeting toward Haven's End, while others vectored to engage. They've detected us, Vin affirmed somberly. Excellent, Mercer responded, catching Vin off guard. Prepare to witness something extraordinary. He initiated an emergency comm channel. Alice, this is Mercer. Please confirm operational status. Brief static filled the air. Then, Darian Mercer, systems identified as 47% functional, awaiting directives. Package secured, mission accomplished, Mercer announced, a wave of relief washing over his tone. But we've acquired unwanted guests. I require immediate transmission of your precise location. Docking sequence initiated. We're inbound. Roger that. Coordinates dispatched, Alice responded. Caution. Sustained considerable damage. Life support systems nominal, but strained. Engine performance severely impacted. We'll navigate through, Mercer affirmed, swiftly recalibrating their trajectory to intercept Alice's signal. FTL status? Faster than light drive operational, yet integrity post-damage uncertain, Alice stated. It'll suffice. Their vessel surged forth, zeroing in on Alice's coordinates, positioned the trailing Helix vessels, momentarily losing ground as they adapted to the unforeseen trajectory shift. There she is, Mercer announced, spotting the battered courier ship silhouetted against the planet. Despite visible combat scars, Jade's Folly appeared remarkably complete. Alice had acquitted herself admirably. Docking was a delicate maneuver, given the state of Alice's damaged external ports, but Mercer's seasoned expertise ensured a smooth connection. The airlock hissed open, permitting Mercer and Vin to embark onto the courier ship. Welcome aboard, Darian Mercer, Alice greeted as they stepped into the cockpit. New person. Detected. This is Ven. Mercer presented his associate. He's affiliated with the Truth Collective, allies of your creators. Verification validated. Alice registered, having scanned Vin. Mission status. Package secured. However, Helix is closing rapidly, Mercer clarified, occupying the pilot's position. We must transmit this crucial evidence to the core worlds, and you represent our optimal opportunity. Can you chart an FTL jump? Calculating prime trajectory, Alice affirmed, displays illuminating an intricate sequence of computations. Warning: Helix vessels on intercept heading. Weapons range imminent in approximately 67 seconds, Mercer cautioned. Activated the courier's meager weapon systems, just enough to stall them. Ven nodded, assuming auxiliary control, prioritizing defense. Alice, initiate jump calculation, ASAP, Mercer pressed. Helix ship's initial volleys grazed their hull. Jump calculated. Executing requires safety protocol override, given damage. Override authorized, Mercer affirmed instantly. Get us out of here. The FTL drive whirred, charging for the escape as pursuers intensified fire, knowing their prey was vanishing. With imminent impact looming, Vin grimly announced a new breach near the Sector 4 ceiling compartment, compounding existing damage. Alice coolly reported FTL charging at 82%. Another devastating blow shook the ship violently as alarms blared across every console. We're nearing our breaking point, Mercer exclaimed, executing risky, evasive actions to save the battered vessel. Alice, can we initiate the jump preemptively? Not advised. Possible navigational instability. FTL at 93%. A third critical hit ignited further alarms. FTL at 95%, Alice declared. 96, 97%. Pursuing vessels were closing in for the final blow. Mercer could discern them through the viewports. Now their weapons charged as they prepped another volley. 99% FTL jump primed. Mercer urged the stars warped around them as the FTL drive activated. The familiar disorientation of faster-than-light travel engulfed the crew. They had evaded capture for now. Once the initial jump was finalized, Mercer slumped back in his chair. Damage assessment, substantial. Alice responded. Life support, nominal navigation, operational communication. Arrays impaired, but a repairable FTL drive operating at sub-optimal efficiency. Can we reach the core worlds? Indirect routes, multi-stage jumps punctuated by repair stops are essential. Mercer glanced at Vin. Estimated duration? Roughly 13 days, 7 hours, Alice projected. Contingent on successful in-transit repairs. Helix will scour every system en route, she cautioned. Stealth is paramount. Mercer considered this. Alice, your engineer championed justice, am I right? I presume that declaration remains emblazoned on your hull. Was their intel accurate? Engineer Kiana Saito meticulously encoded my core directives. She was instrumental in uncovering Helix's machinations on Proxima. Tragically, she perished before her vital evidence could be disseminated. A hush fell over the cockpit as they processed this grave revelation. Mercer declared resolutely, "We have merely 13 days to ensure her ultimate sacrifice was not in vain." He continued, "Alice, chart a course for the nearest secure system where we can execute repairs. Then, establish contact with your contacts. Apprise them of our imminent arrival." As Vin headed to the comm station, Mercer stayed put, reflecting on his life's radical shift in under 24 hours. He'd landed seeking a quick salvage job, but now piloted a battered courier on a quest to reveal corporate sins, joined by a resolute AI and a rebel ally. The phrase on the ship's hull haunted him. Remember, a cryptic symbol transformed into a vow to honor the Proxima dead. Remember Kiana Silaito, who sacrificed all. Dedicated her existence to unveil the reality. Remember that even amidst cosmic desolation, justice prevailed. Course. Locked Alice declared, initiating repairs at a desolate Carina. Sector outpost estimated. Arrival, 28 hours understood. Mercer responded, reinvigorated, with purpose, unknown for years. And Alice. I've embraced your proposal. Post-mission, securing Jedi's folly ownership provided you consent to our continued partnership. I deem that amenable, Alice confirmed, and Mercer almost perceived a hint of warmth, perceived contentment in her synthesized tone during the tech evaluation. We're a potent alliance, Mercer, Alice affirmed, smiling. As the battered vessel pressed on through the cosmos, the inscription upon its frame gained profound significance. No mere cryptic phrase, but a vow to recall, to persevere, and to guarantee that veracity, regardless of its entombment, would inevitably surface. For Darian Mercer, a man who dedicated years to obscuring his history and evading dedication, this signified far more than a fresh start. It was a triumph against every conceivable obstacle. Unforeseen expectations, a destiny he unconsciously sought, all ignited by a desert crash and a cryptic word that revolutionized his world.